I'll be showing all the base build I used to make 100,000 plus in player earnings alone in Schedule 1. We'll be starting with an entirely clean slate. Nothing's in the barn, and the supplies we'll need will be 51 large storage racks, 4 safes, 1 wall-mounted shelf, which the safe and the shelf can be bought at Blue Ball's Boutique, next to the place you get all your properties, 24 suspension racks, LED grow lights, moisturizing, preserving... Son of a biscuit, dude. Saying all this at the same time is tough. Moisture preserving pots, 32 drying racks, 3 brick presses. You can also use the packaging station Mark II. I'll show a set for that as well. It'll be timestamped down below. And 11 beds. We'll begin with the wall-mounted shelf. This is pretty critical to the builds. It is a structural foundation that needs to be placed. We're going to put it right above your head height. Get underneath it, spam jump, and now you're on the second floor. That is critical. You have no idea. First shelf will go right next to the door. Not in the walkway, but just next to it. Then you place a bunch of shelves going left of this second support beam right here. And I mean a bunch. You don't need all the storage, but I do. That's why I'm putting it. And you stop at this second to last support beam. Take yourself 2 safes. Make it so the handle's facing to the left. And place 2 of them right there. And these safes can be accessed by your handlers and botanists, by the way. They're not going to. They just can. It's just extra storage for you. Take one shelf, face it snug against this last support beam on the right here. And then go back to putting them as such. And keep going all the way to the left until you can't anymore. Right there, we're done. I don't recommend putting shelves here. It'll mess up the whole flow of what I got going on. Take yourself a shelf, put it to the left of the support beam to where it's snug. The corner... Oh, hello? The corner matches it. And place 3 right there. Then put 6 on the other side. What? That's 6? Sick. Quick math. And put 6 more on the other side of this support beam, on the right side. Take yourself a safe. Place it to where the handle's facing to the left. And it's snug with support beam as such. And then take your last safe. Same thing. Handle should be facing left, and with all that said and done, you can walk through all this space. Doesn't impede your workflow, your path whatsoever, and you have a lot of stuff crammed in one spot. If you're claustrophobic like that, I'm sorry. Then you take your last remaining shelves, and you'll probably follow like pretty much the same pattern all the way down. You line up the actual support beam, and then you move 1 over to the left. You can actually move it to where it's off the support beam, and what happens is workers will pull from this chest and not have to walk all the way out in the front. But in doing so, you'll be closer to these shelves, and it does feel kind of weird. So I'll just make it snug with the support beam, 1 to the left, place 4. You can also just do on the support beam, 1 to the left, 2 to the right. Now the last one, because I'm weird like this, I go 2 to the left, 1 to the right, since it's so close to the stairs. That is all the storage. Now time for the fun part. Actually, the fun part is doing all the routing. I'll try and put that all in the same spot, because it does get not complicated, but definitely not it's not the most simple. We'll go ahead and do moisture preserving pots and drying racks. And do be aware, I'm going to save the suspension racks and grow lights for the very last, because it's very obvious they go on the growing pots. And if you do them last, it makes it easier to do the routing. And we'll also do the brick presses. So brick presses first. We'll just have them be, in this case, right in the middle of those 6 shelves. Middle of the 6 shelves. And then next to the support beam. How you place these isn't a big deal. It's just your aesthetics you might like. Growing racks. This setup will be interesting. We'll start the left side first. You just place it really snug in the very corner next to that support beam. And go 4 over. And then 4 over again. You place 2 snug on the right side of the support beam, or left side of the support beam. And that's this section done. You have 10 racks already down. Clean. Then we go to the right, to the left of the support beam. Move once over left again. Place 2 connected. 2 connected. Go ahead and place 3 of these racks. And I'm going to do all the racks, I suppose, instead of mixing and matching here. All right, I'm not saying anything. It's not helpful. Hopefully that makes sense. I didn't really talk us through that, but it should be good visually. And then this time, I'm going to go ahead and place this support rack to the very left of the support beam. That way I can have more room next to the stairs. I don't know what it is. I have something to do with these stairs in my mind. I feel like if I put things too close to it, it'll mess stuff up. I'm going to start from this side with the pots. We're making sections at 8, since a botanist can have 8 pots at one time, and I recommend never to mix and match pots with racks. Botanists are either doing pots or they're doing racks. So we're going to line it up to where it's no red zone, and move it once to the right, once back. We place 3 more, and then 2. That way there's walkable space, which doesn't matter, so to speak, but I like it. Makes me feel good. Then kind of the same deal. Except, so we have no red marks, like that. Open space, to the right, back. We place 2, and then we move once to where it's placeable, and then once over. So there's that slight space. Which again, doesn't matter, but I like doing it. And this is the pattern that we're going with. That's your 8. And the last section is going to be mirroring the first. To the right, back. And I'll make it so it gives us room on the stairs. That is the entire setup for the equipment. I lied. Okay, wait, the beds. This goes over the pots. We can all recognize that. Bed setup, we're going to go ahead and put 2 downstairs next to these 2 safes. They fit just good. And the last 9 will go upstairs. Go ahead and turn it. Or this one, we'll make it so the feet are touching toes. Those 3 are right there. And the back one needs to be as far back as it possibly can, to the left and the right. Like, push backwards and to the left. Place 2 next to each other, and you flip these remaining 2 beds. And now you have 9 beds up top. Pick yourself 3 botanists and give them 8 pots each. Do not mix and match their tasks. It makes things way worse. Trust me. So we'll have these 8 pots selected for this guy, and how it's going to work for their supplies. All the folks using the growing pots will be the far left shelf. The folks that are using the drying racks will be the far right shelf, and we'll cover the middle shelves later. So 8 pots assigned to that guy. He has his rack. Her, she getting these. This is her supplies. And this is the last growing pot person. I'll go ahead and do the same thing for all the other folks too. Which is not rocket science, and like with the racks I get. Oh no! Your supplies, Ms. War. I'm sorry. There you are. Drying racks are a bit more interesting, but not too much. I think the most technical part is going to be assigning the routing. So go ahead and pick that for her. We'll give her 1 rack out of the way to save someone else. And she'll be getting all of her supplies from this shelf, the far right one, as mentioned earlier. Then he will be on this right side, doing all 8 of these. Realistically, you can do that. And his supplies will be this shelf. Try to figure out who doesn't have stuff yet. Now, carrying on where we left off, we have 1 open rack over here. So now we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For supplies, this shelf. And the last botanist gets the last racks. And please do me a favor and just skip ahead of things that you don't need to see. There should be timestamps down below. If there's not, I apologize, but there should be. Is all of his 8 racks, his supplies, far right shelf. Sick. Now it's time for the routing. Since we have 32 drying racks and only 24 growing pots, we'll be putting 6 pots into a shelf for each of the drying rack botanists. So go ahead and select those pots. You gotta hold. You don't have to hold shift for this, I guess. We'll go ahead and pick these 6. to go into this shelf. Then we'll deselect. Get those two. And these four, they're very conveniently broken up for us. It will go into this shelf. And I'd make sure you keep track of which ones you have selected before you're deselecting it. So deselect these four, followed by these two. Why not? Those will go. What happened? My brain. What happened? What happened? We're good. No, we're not. Yeah, we are. We're good. Okay. I got lost. And the last will go into the very final shelf. How did I lose track of that? There's only 4 steps. Wait a minute. Did I do this correctly? We have 6 going into that one, 6 going into that one, and 6 going into that one. How is that confused? I think I'm dehydrated, dude. Drink enough water, man. You have no idea how much it affects you. It is insane. All right. That's the routing for the growing pots. Now the routing for the drying racks. There are 3 presses, which there could be. Your packaging station is your choice. We'll go ahead and get roughly 10 per each one. There's going to be like 11 going into 2, I believe. So we'll go ahead and get all these on the left here first, because there's 10 here. So that's 10 drying racks. I'm going to go ahead and put those into this shelf right here. Now, in doing this, you could move the brick press over to the right if you want. Its placement is the easiest thing to change. That's up to you. So those racks are all out of the picture. And I won't be changing quality on the racks since there's no need to go past the high quality currently, because the highest quality a customer wants is just high. Heavenly is not required at the moment. If it is required, you change the quality to fit what you need. That's one thing I made a mistake on for a while, is A, suggesting that, and also doing it myself. It was not wise. Next rack will be again to the far right to keep things consistent, so I don't forget what's going on. Before I deselect, I'll make sure I know where to go off next. And this should be the final 10. Or 11 in this case. Last 11 racks will be going to this shelf or this one, your choice. You know what? We'll do this shelf. Not a big deal. You can mix and match it. You can change things up. It's all your choice. Just giving you guys a basic layout. So the routing for the growing pots and the drying racks are done. Next up, we have the handlers. These dudes first need to get their brick press. I'm putting this dude in the back. Give me bad vibes. And the first route is going to be taking the raw wheat and putting it into the brick press. Then I would like to recommend you have the handlers restock the seeds and the grow soil for the botanists. For this example, we have shelf 1, 2, 3, and 4. Shelf 1 is for the botanist to plant with. Shelf 2 is going to go into shelf 1 to restock that. And shelf 3 goes into shelf 2 to further restock it. It gives us less time of having to sit here and worry about our botanist planting. More leeway, essentially. May have forgot to show y'all where the destination of the brick presses and or packaging stations go. It is directly to the left of wherever the raw wheat is. Raw weed, destination for finalized product. Raw weed, destination for finalized product. Raw weed, same deal. If you're using jars, get yourself a packaging station Mark II, place in the middle, find a handler that has nothing else going on. In this case, it'd be her. Sign her to said station. Then we have the raw weed coming in from the far right into the station. And we'll go ahead and reassign the other stuff I got rid of just now, which would be this shelf and that shelf, third shelf, second shelf. And we also have to make it so she has jars that are going into the station. I'm going to go and pick the second shelf from the beam here on the left to be the one that goes into the packaging station. And I'm going to have the shelf on the very far left restock this one. So we have the restock jars into the production jars. If you have the luxury of using bricks, you'll have a bunch of open slots for your handlers. With that being the case, you can simply route them to move over the finalized product once over to the left, if not twice over, That way, in case you forget and somehow they're pumping out insane amounts of bricks, you don't have to come back as often. You can also add 1 extra shelf. That way, they can have 4 botanist shelves for planting each. Now to give them all beds. I'm making sure my bed isn't going to be the one in the far left corner, because that's a bit harder to get to. Not by much, but by enough that I don't want that bed. And this is where I place his shelf right here. Because I can do that for the bed placement. Let's go. Oh, he's already getting to work. That's actually sick. I've never done it in midair. We'll go ahead and let some time pass and show you guys how this works. Make sure nothing's broken. As we can see, this dude's restocking the shelves of the botanist to plant with. This is almost empty. This shelf is basically full. And the main shelf they actually use to plant is completely full. So that function is working flawlessly for all of them so far. We got some decent product on the shelves here. Granted, I don't have the rack set to heavenly quality, so they will be finishing twice as fast. They complete in 12 hours versus 24, and that means you won't really have an overflow like normal. But everything is working really good. And you have all these shelves for storage, some of the safes to do whatever you want with. Freaking noise. If anything does get stuck, like a worker is stuck in a drying rack, which doesn't happen that often, but it does or can happen, you save your game, you log out, log back in, and it should fix them. And if you have a worker that's taking product and not planting anything, let's say I have a shelf here where the grow plants put product and then the drying rack person puts it on the racks, sometimes they'll just take things from the shelf and delete it instantly. If that happens, get rid of that worker. Hire a new one, give them the same routes the other one had, and it should resolve the issue. Don't know what causes that to happen, but I've noticed it has happened in the past. Which I don't believe to be the case right now. If it was, these racks would have nothing on them. Yeah, he's actually using it, which is good. Anywho, that should be all from me. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Laters.